Hello, everyone, and welcome to Webinar Wednesday here at DealerOn. We switched things up, and I'm coming to you a day earlier than normal, but we've got a long, busy weekend ahead, I know. So we wanted to get this session in before it gets hectic at the dealership. My name is Erin Zabarak. I'm your host and the Director of Marketing for DealerOn. I grew up working in dealerships, and when I was the marketing manager for a group here in Washington, I was the person editing the websites. To date myself, that was back before incentive feeds were a glimmer in the OEM's eyes, and I remember manually adding them to vehicles. It was also before a lot of the laws and regulations went into effect because the idea of doing that now scares me beyond reason. But anyway, I'm excited to be here to talk website office hours, and I'm very excited to be joined by our Senior Director of Support, Jana Freeman. Jana is a longtime webinar watcher, first time presenter. So we're all going to be gentle and we're all going to be kind today, okay? Jana, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Yes, indeed. This is my first time actually on this side of the webinar, so I am excited to be a part. Thank you for
It's
having me.
And we are excited. It's going to be great. So, we also want to give a special shout out here to a few people who contributed resources and information for the session today. Daisy and Tony aren't here presenting, but they are here in our hearts, and they're also watching on their laptops, I think. So, they're probably here in the room too. These two are great examples of the amazing customer support and customer success teams we have here at DealerOn. We truly couldn't have done this training today without them. And Jane, I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that.
Not at all. Not at all. They're true rock stars. We appreciate the
Perfect.
work that they do.
Perfect. So let's cover a few logistics before we get started. We are recording the training today. We will send you both the deck and the recording after the webinar. You should see a Q&A section here in Zoom. I'm going to be hanging out in there and responding throughout the webinar. With the content today, I think you're going to probably have some questions related to how to, can I do this? Should I do this? You're going to see lots of resource links in the deck, and I'm going to do my best to answer your questions live. But if we need to follow up after the session, you know I'm going to do that too. But don't hold your questions to the end. That's the moral of the story. Ask as we go along. It's one of my favorite parts of these webinars. It's you. So, speaking of you, let's get started for you. We spend a lot of time on these sessions talking about best practices, strategy, really getting into website optimization. For many of you in the stores, you have a vision, you know what you want, you know what you need. Now it's time to execute. Some of you have fantastic relationships with your DealerOn rep, either your customer success manager, that CSM, a digital performance strategist, your DPS. We got all the letters, all the acronyms. Listen, we love that. They are your person. They are your first line of defense when talking websites. But we also know some of you like to be DIY. You want to be hands-on keyboard. You want to get things done yourself. So at DealerOn, we have a path for everyone. The session today is going to show you a few things about the platform that are possible, and we're going to get you going on how to make it happen. So, Jana, let's start out with making sure everyone knows all the paths we have to reach out to the team and or to self-serve.
Absolutely. So, as Aaron mentioned, you absolutely have your dedicated rep that you are able to reach out to. And then around the clock, we have our awesome support team. You can reach them or reach us via phone. It's our hotline. You can call it at any time of the day. It's 1-877-543-4200. I've said that a million times. I know it like the back of my hand. You can also email us. We know that a lot of our customers love to use this intake method, and so please email us at help@dealeron.com. Again, our team is ready and willing to assist you around the clock. In addition to that, we do have some cool features coming soon. It is going to be by way of, text messaging. We understand that a lot of times, right, you're not always at your computer. It's going to be easier to kind of use that SMS live kind of feature. And so we will absolutely be, you'll be seeing more and more as we approach the fourth quarter, as we are introducing more options to communicate with the team. And then, as Aaron already touched on, if you are that DIY, or you just want to check in on your site, you have the option of going into our CMS, which is our content management system, proprietary system that DealerOn has built. And again, being able to access the CMS is very critical. And so we want to make sure that you, if you do not have access today, that absolutely you go ahead and email us right this moment if you want to, help@dealeron.com, so that we can absolutely make sure you have access to your CMS, where you can make a lot of changes in the back end. You can see all kinds of things as it relates to your website.
Jana, you fit in very well here. We like to give immediate homework, and that is seriously, if you have not accessed the CMS, open your email right now, help@DealerOn, and say, Jana told me I need access to the CMS.
That's it.
That'll make sure the team works extra fast, right?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, so once you have access, where are we going to start? The homepage. I get this question a lot, especially for dealers who have recently moved to DealerOn, is what should my homepage look out? What are the layout options? This is by far our most popular. It's a grid layout. You're going to hear the word grid a lot because we got to give customers a lot of options. The reason it's my favorite is because it allows you to display not only vehicle information, which is critical. Of course, we've got to sell cars. But as you can see here, we can have service information. We can have specials. You can offer with these widgets different pieces of information on your website and get every customer what they're looking for, not just those customers shopping for vehicles. This is by far our most popular layout. And again, it gets those relevant links above the fold. For mobile views, we've got a few different options here. This Shop by Vehicle widget here on the left that you see prominently in the mobile, this is again one of those cool features that we have. It is customizable. It allows customers to shop by vehicle, of course, as it shows, keyword, or for most OEMs by budget or by payment information. You control what it defaults to. So in that mobile screenshot there, you can see it's defaulting to vehicle, which it's giving those three options. You might want to test out shopping by budget and allowing customers to toggle and filter by that payment range that they're comfortable with. Or a lot of dealers like that keyword option. I just want the customer to be able to type in Bronco and get information that way. All of that's available here with this grid layout. I do want you to pay attention there to that nav across the top because I'm going to have you go forward, Jana, and on the next slide, same grid layout, but a different nav option. So how we display phone numbers, how all the links are showing atop, and then on that mobile screenshot, again, that's a different option. So when you are talking to your customer success manager or when you're calling support, call out if you want to test out, if you want to view a different layout. Homepage layout is one of those things I really recommend you work with your support team on. You work with your CSM or DPS because nobody wants a hot mess homepage on accident when you click a wrong button. So showing you what's possible is important. One more layout we wanted to showcase. This is relatively new. It's performing really well for Ford. It was built specifically for Ford, but of course available for other OEMs. And it's a different widget based. And as you can see there on the mobile shot, again, if you want to condense that shot by vehicle option, we can to scooch those buttons up. Scooch is the technical term for sure. Terry has a question. Although the grid layout is the most popular, does it also generate the most clicks through? Yes, we do a lot of testing and I'm answering this live. Yes, that's why it's the most popular because we recommend it because it's the highest converting. So excellent note, Terry. Jason, let me see. By default, pages have widgets with sales, numbers, hours, map, all that map information there on the bottom of the homepage, Jana. And tell me if I have to follow up with the team. Can we move some of those elements on the homepage up? Yes.
Yeah,
Customize.
I'm not 100% sure. I think we probably, I can definitely, it depends on the layout for sure. And yeah, so we'll
Yeah,
definitely kind of get that answer for you.
a lot of it is also depending on the OEM and
It
depending on
does.
what requirements they have for above the fold. But sales numbers, we can move to the top. The map information,
Yes,
I'm going to say no, that needs to stay at the bottom. And from a customer experience perspective, that's where they're used to seeing that information. So, really important to note. I like the question on map. I like where you're going. I think there's a few solutions, especially if you're a dealer group and need to display location info. That's a strategy conversation. Jason, I want to talk to you separately. Megan wants to know, are these layouts available to independent used dealers? Yes, absolutely.
yes,
Everything you're seeing here on the screen for you all, you have less rules than the rest of us. So a little bit more fun for you. Let's see. So we've been talking navigation, right? I get this question all the time. How many nav items should I have? I would love to tell you there is an exact right answer. There is not. There's a wrong answer. I'll tell you that much. It's more than eight and more than fit on your desktop for sure.
for sure.
Navigation's where we have to have a real common sense approach to things and using common sense language. So if you've got pre-owned in your nav bar, number one, that takes up more space. And number two, call it a used car. Customers know used. Luxury, operators, are you a little different? Maybe this is an A/B test kind of thing.
Yeah,
But for the majority of testing that we've done, used is going to perform just as well, and it's more in line with customer vernacular. So this is your homework too. Review your nav. If you've got too much stuff in there, take a look. What can we condense? And then look at your sub nav items. We often see dealers creating individual landing pages for new models. So it'll say 2025 Nissan Altima, Ford Bronco, whatever it is. And then 2026 rolls around and you've still got the old one in your nav because you forget that it's there because you're used to clicking and not even reading the options. So this is your reminder to look, and this is something that dealers can edit and update themselves, right, Jana?
absolutely. You can absolutely make edits yourself. The biggest thing is just to know where you want to house your new navigational item. And in doing so, right, we oftentimes like to make sure that you're thinking about the customer's experience, right? Thinking about their journey, how you want things to be kind of laid out so that they can easily navigate the page. The other thing to keep in mind is that, if you're updating this yourself, and you're going into the site content, and you are, utilizing, you want to make sure that if you're creating a new one, that you're using a unique URL, right? That way you don't run into any duplication issues.
Yeah.
But absolutely, it's fully customizable in terms of how you want that to display.
Perfect. Let me see. I'm catching up with
Awesome.
questions.
All right. Any
Andy,
questions?
I'm answering you in the chat. Can we handle a group page, 3 OEMs, used driven? Yes, absolutely. We work with
Absolutely.
a ton of dealer groups. We have group portals. We've got portals, jumps, whatever you want to call it, whether you're wanting to keep them on that group site to shop inventory, or if you want to drive traffic to the child site. Absolutely, we can handle all that. Marion's asking for different layouts that are available, and I am going to answer you with a link in the chat, and I'll
Yes.
make sure it comes through. We've got tons of options. So scroll down to the bottom of this page. You're going to see, and it's based on OEM too. You know the page I'm sending, right, Jana?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I want to make a note that it's also really good in your, monthly calls with your CSM or your DPS to absolutely talk through this. They're going to have a lot of information that they can help to provide as well as it relates to the different layouts and, the ones that we see converting higher, just depending on your overall goals and situation for sure.
Perfect. All right, let me see. I'm going to catch up with these. So landing pages. You're
Sounds
going to
good.
talk
Yeah.
landing pages.
I'll
Okay,
jump in. I like landing
perfect.
pages, right? I really do. Custom landing pages are proven just to increase conversion, because they give the customers exactly what they're looking for, whether it's a service special, a new model launch, or, any kind of financing, leasing offer, what have you. So, as it relates to the custom content pages, right, the ones without inventory, there's not really a fixed template that we recommend or anything that you need to follow. So you can really just be as creative as you want. You can create the experience that speaks directly to your buyers. As for like the inventory driven custom content landing pages, we do have a template that we recommend. But the key is really relevancy, right? If someone is searching for a specific vehicle, right, near them, you're right. If you already have a page that's optimized for just that, you've already met them halfway. And so, those are the direct paths, right, that we see leading to conversion. And so, best practices here is always, right, tie your landing pages to customer intent and your SEO strategy. So our client facing teams, my CS teams, even if you have SEO product with us, right, we work closely with you to ensure that these pages are built right, they're styled to your brand, to your perfection, and optimized to generate, the traffic and leads that you need for sure. All
Awesome.
right.
And I think it's important to call out the two differences. So before you even contact support or talk about building a landing page, what are you trying to accomplish? That's my number one question back to dealers. Whenever
Absolutely.
they say, I want to do this on my website, I want to do this, what are you trying to accomplish? Okay, what's the best way to go there? For some pages, I know you're going to go through examples. It's no duh, you need inventory. And these are great landing pages to use for digital advertising efforts specifically. Others, you're talking a sale, you're talking a promotion, this service example, no inventory needed. So calling that out and understanding what you need from the start is step one, right?
Awesome. Absolutely. It is, it's, to me, it's here where, these landing pages is really where the strategy kind of comes alive, right? Your goals being, enacted in a manner in which it's going to get you where you want to go. On the left, right? The custom content, you see, things like your service education. You can highlight protection plans or special promotions, right? These pages really help to build trust. It educates the customer. It's going to keep them engaged on your site, right? You get a way to connect with them in a different manner. And it really kind of keeps them engaged so that they're just not drifting away, right, to another site or another third party, or what have you. It really kind of creates that level of engagement. On the right, as it relates to the custom content with inventory, you'll see content paired with the directly with the inventory, right, that you're speaking about. This is where the conversion can happen even faster, right? This is giving the shopper both the information they need and the cars they want in that same one seamless view, right? It's all in one view. It's more targeted and it increases the chance that they're actually submit a lead for sure.
Absolutely. We have some good chat going on.
Awesome.
Tina wants to know, do we work with all OEMs? We work with over 40. So if you've got an OEM we aren't working with, I'm going to be shocked. Marion
Mhm.
says, what about custom content pages or landing pages for community related events? And I said, absolutely. That's a
Absolutely.
fantastic. If you're, and I typed this out, you're donating. You get asked for donations. You get asked to support golf tournaments all the time. Put that stuff on that community page, and then you ask that bank, that whoever organization to link back to your website, and it's SEO gold. You build a lot of these, right, Jana?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why I do like the option for the custom content pages. It really allows you to take the time to, connect with your customers at a different level, right? So, yes, absolutely. If you are looking to do something as it relates to, any nonprofit efforts or anything that you're passionate about, this is a
Yeah.
great way to connect with your customers.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, and you've got the instructions here. We're not going to read through step by step.
We're absolutely not going to read step by step. But however, we do have resources and we'll make sure that you have the link to those. If you do want to go in and create this landing page, my team is absolutely happy to help guide you through, even any of your team members, if you'd like, on how to create these pages. The reality is the dealers who see the highest return on investment are those who, do find that way to combine both approaches, right? Educating and building your brand value while also making it easy for the customer to kind of shop right away. So our support teams are here to help. We can help you strike that balance so that your landing pages are not just live, but they're high performing. And so feel free, submit a case through email or you can call us and we'll definitely get started on this for you today.
Beautiful. Let's see, before we move to this, Jake wants to know, is there a best of or conversely worst practices related to pop-ups, sliders, chats? I'm going to tell you, Jake, Next month, we are talking all about website performance related to core web vitals, site
Mm-hmm.
speed. I don't have a pitch a promo slide in this deck, but you stick with me, Jake, and we got you covered. So, I would say be the user yourself on mobile. And if that
Mm-hmm.
chat's in your way, like it's sometimes in my way, we need to look at how it's been installed on the site and get things moving. But we're going to talk a lot about that next month. So stay tuned with us. And I'll let you go. So I think the moral of the story on landing pages, if you want it, we can do it.
Yes.
And let us start it so that you can add in the information. We want that framework set up. This is another thing that can get pretty labor intensive. So partner with your CSM so that we get that right page built for you. I feel like I should give your team an apology because they're going to get a ton of requests already. But we love it. That keeps them busy.
That's what we're
So
here for. We're
that's
here to help
perfect.
you. Absolutely.
Perfect. But now you've got the landing page. So what kind of content can go on there and what kind of content can go on the site, right? That's what we're going to talk about next.
Absolutely. We're going to start talking about adding some of that additional content.
Perfect. So there are a lot of places on the website that you can add information. We're going to give you our terminology. Listen, you call it what you want. We're going to understand what you mean. But I'm the kind of person where if I'm emailing support, I want to know what I'm talking about. I like to be the smartest one in the room. It doesn't happen very often here anymore. But so we're going to define these two things. So talk about, start whichever one you want, Jana, but bonus block versus conditional block.
Yeah, I mean, we can start with the bonus blocks, right? We know, as it relates to the bonus block, it is, going to go across, right, your site. It is something that is going to be site wide. So you really want to be very strategic with how you're using the bonus block. Again, it's definitely something that if you have some seasonal campaign or something that's a little bit more long standing or something very, vital that you really want to get out to your customers that you're using that bonus block. Um, you know, just a little bit of a shameless plug. We know that we're going into the awesome Labor Day holiday. So today is a great day to go ahead. If you have some bonus block content that you want to get out there, we'd love for you to submit that to us today so that we can go ahead and get that get the work started on that to ensure that you're going to have a successful holiday weekend. So as it relates to conditional blocks, right? These are going to be blocks that you're fine within the SRP or the VDP, right? Where you can really more or less target it more to vehicle specific, content, whatever it is, whether you even want to just tailor it to leasing offers or financing offers or what have you, for sure.
Absolutely. And there's a link there on how to add a conditional block. So if you've got that page already created, conditional block is what we see utilized most often because it is inventory related. But again, help at dealeron.com. We will say it 57 more times today.
We sure will.
But now we're kind of talking banners. This is a question we get a lot of. Want to make
Hmm.
sure everyone is aware of a tool that we have because it's relatively new and it's called Design Studio. So Design Studio, it's user friendly. It's banner and asset creation tool. It gives you the capability to create high quality and OEM compliant banners, which is the most
Yes,
important.
huge.
Yes. So this tool is loaded with pre-approved assets and optimized templates, and it really empowers you to take control of your entire creative process. So, like I mentioned, we've got OEM approved designs, but the tool also gives you its customization, its flexibility, and most important to me, it's pretty easy to use. If I can build a slide with it and have it look good, I know any of you can too. So if you or your agency, for example, are spending a lot of hours or a lot of dollars to get custom assets created, this is something you might want to look at. It's available in most OEM top level packages or as an add-on for any website as well. So if you need info on this and I see questions coming in, send me a note in the Q&A or reach out to your CSM. They can get you that info too. Because
Excellent.
creating, choosing my words carefully. OEMs like to sometimes change incentives mid-month or add additional bonus cash. We love it. Thank you for all the money. This is going to allow you, rather than having to go back to your agency, start over, get a whole new asset, you can simply go in and adjust the verbiage on the slide and push it live, which for me is really helpful. So,
Absolutely.
but truly, whether you're working with Design Studio or you're creating your own assets, size matters. And there are so many places we have on DealerOn websites to add these banners. You showed a few already. So, Jana, I think you're going to take us through all the different banner locations, and you've got a handy resource here, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll see the suggested dimensions. And of course, again, we have on our resource center, we have articles that you can read that'll make sure that you have the right size for each type of banner. The homepage banner for me, I look at it as, that's your digital storefront window, right? So that's going to be that's perfect for like highlighting those big sales, seasonal events. And so we just want to make sure that you have the right dimensions, and that we are clear what your goals are, when absolutely using our templates to create those, or if you are providing those to us, that the dimensions so that it can certainly align with your website. In addition to that, there's their SRP and VDP banners, right? And these are, those banners as we talked about, where it's like catching the shopper in the buying mode, and kind of reinforcing those offers right where they're browsing those vehicles. And so they are going to be placed on your SRP and your VDP. And again, the size is there suggested for, how that's going to look. Again, when you are submitting these into the support team, we will certainly be engaging back and forth if something doesn't quite, look right. We want to make sure that it is absolutely what you're looking for. And, we can resize as need be, and what have you, but we'll make sure that we get it the way it should be. Then you have your specials banners. Again, it creates the urgency, right, by showcasing those more time sensitive deals and promotions. And then we talked about the bonus block banners, which sits right under the navigation on every page, right? So it's that site wide that makes them that real prime real estate, right, for any high visibility type campaigns that you might have. Um, and then you have the slim and pencil banners, right? These are a little more subtle, but great for short, urgent messages, right? Without overwhelming the shopper. So again, as the example shows there, it might just be like $7,000, cash special or something to that effect, right? As Aaron mentioned, some of those mid-month incentives that may come in that you want to highlight. Um, and then we have the lead driver banners. These are designed, right, for conversion. So, whether it's using the coupon format, right, that adapts across your devices, right, that's how it works to capture those leads. It's important, there's a form oftentimes associated with this lead driver banner, that's going to really make it a tool that can be used for conversion. The reality is, right, when we're using, all of these together, these banners should really act like a digital billboard system across your site, right? Guiding shoppers from awareness, right, all the way to conversion. And our team is here to help you make sure that we can, get those banners on the site for you. We can help you by making sure that it has the right size, dimension, and, make sure that you have the one that works best for your advantage.
Yeah, and Jason had a question, and I hope I'm hearing it right in my head. Mobile sizes for homepage and SRP. Our sites are fully responsive. So
Yes,
these are the dimensions, and if
it's
you
going to
send
adapt
this
to those.
in, it will respond properly. If I misunderstood you, Jason, you can call me an idiot and tell me what your actual question is. Perfect. But lots of good conversation on conditional blocks. I think you've got one more resource. This is just a, hey, help us help you if you are sending in the request, right, Jana?
Absolutely. Yeah. This is, so when you are creating, or wanting these banners to be created, again, it always starts with, what are you envisioning, right? And so what's the end goal here? What's your vision? We have many templates that we use. So just send us the details. My team will take care of it. Again, Design Studio is an awesome tool that, as Aaron mentioned, it makes it, very easy for us to go in and really create um, these banners. And so, as long as we have these items, the type, the dimension, the theme, your colors, any additional notes that you may want to put there. One of the things as it relates to the images that you send, I want to make sure I highlight it's very vital that the images that we receive are copyright safe, so that we can use them without any issues, right? That is very huge for us. That, if you are sending in those images, that you do have the copyright to those images. And then, as I mentioned, our team will just build it. We will build them. We'll put them together. We're happy to show you how to do that as well, if that's something that you're interested in. Again, it makes you feel good to feel like you're a designer. I for one, sometimes feel like I'm a designer when I look at some of the products that come out of the tool, that makes it so user friendly. So what we will do after we build it, we'll share the preview for your feedback. And once you approve, we'll place it on the site in the best spot for visibility. So, we really try to keep the process simple so that your banners not only look good, but they also help to drive those clicks and leads, that we know that we all want. Absolutely.
Yeah, and great note on the copyright. I'm getting a question from Andy that I can't believe I didn't get earlier about AI resources and AI images. We're gonna all keep everybody safe and protected. So that's one, I don't have a blanket answer of yes, AI images or no AI images. So work with your CSM, work with our support team. We have a wonderful compliance team. Let's make sure we get you taken care of there. So perfect. You mentioned Lead Driver, and that's another tool that I want to make sure that everybody has the information on because
Mhm.
it's one of the coolest things, especially for, again, dealers who have moved over from the Synchro platform that I think dealers are underutilizing. So Lead
Absolutely.
Driver feature family, it's built to do exactly what the name promises, drive leads, shocker. Um, More than just a pop-up coupon. I think that's the first thing I want to dispel. There's so much functionality here. So depending on the lead driver solution you choose or you have activated, we have behavioral targeting, we have geofencing capabilities, all designed to increase lead submissions, which we see improve 25 to 30% depending on the tactic. So
Mhm.
lead driver coupons are included in most OEM packages, most packages, and that's the entry or the exit coupon that pops up on the homepage. It's customizable. It bypasses pop-up blockers, which I love, and it's actually one of the first products DealerOn ever brought to market. It's been really successful. We often get the question like, why don't you update this design? Guys, if it ain't broke,
It
don't fix
works.
it.
It
Right?
works.
It works, it performs. We had tried a few years ago, I heard a story to change the
Mhm.
design and leads dropped. So we said, no, 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 we're not touching it.
Okay.
But I mentioned behavioral targeting. So this is super cool. It's a little nerdier than I am capable of talking about, but it's intent-based exit messaging. So it senses when a customer is nearing that dreaded X on the top right, and it pops up an offer to try to keep that shopper engaged on the site. Geofencing capabilities. So dealers, you can create fences around colleges, businesses, competitive lots, and you can target customers browsing websites from that location. So you can set up unlimited fences and the offers can be customizable. So it's perfect for if you've got a military base nearby and you have military cash or incentives or programs for those customers. College grad cash happens, well, it happened, but it'll happen again. Uh, the competition, it's a great, great feature. So if you're not taking advantage of Lead Driver, this is one of those tools you most definitely should send me a note about, either in the Q&A, to webinars@dealeron.com, or talk to your person, because I want to make sure we demo this for you and get you more leads to your CRM.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, I know the questions are piling up. I'll come back. I'm talking. I promise I'll look. Let's move to inventory pages. Okay,
All
because we're
right.
talking leads. Now we all know the SRP and VDP are where a lot of your leads are coming from. So we're going to look at layouts here, and we're looking specific in the desktop view because on mobile, when you're looking at SRP specifically, it's going
Mhm.
to display the same because your cell phone's only so big. That's how it's going to work. So let's look at desktop here. We're going to start with grid view. This is best for visual. It shows the most amount of vehicles without having to scroll. That's one of the best features here. As you can see there on the image, we are still displaying inventory information. We are still displaying pricing. We're going to talk about that triple math, or that, I call it things that I shouldn't. The price stack
The
there that
price tag, absolutely.
absolutely. But we know not everybody wants this grid view. Some of you dealers love your list view. So I think here we've got an example of that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely possible. So if you've got more details, this SRP only has one CTA. We recommend no more than three. Guys,
Mm-hmm.
if you got five CTAs or something on your SRP, can we talk? It's too many. It's too much tuna. We can't do it that way. So, but you can see three are going to fit just fine here with all this additional information, and that price stack box still displays. So you can control what your SRP defaults to. And this is one of the easier things to do that. So
Mm-hmm.
here's the click path to do that. So if you've currently got grid view when you land on your SRP and you want it to be list or vice versa, here's the steps to do that in the CMS. I promise you'll get this deck. But important note, and Jana, I think you're going to cover this. On desktop, customers can select the view they prefer,
Mm-hmm.
which I love about our website. It puts the shopper in the driver's seat, pun intended. So,
Absolutely, yes. There are indeed some flexible viewing options that let shoppers kind of switch between, whichever view they prefer, whether it's the grid or list view, right? And you can see that here in the screenshot. Also, as mentioned before, the search results page is where a lot of conversion happens, right? Because it's where customers are actively shopping. So, here at DealerOn, our sites make that experience smoother with features like the infinite scroll, right? Which keeps customers browsing without that friction of having to click through multiple pages and what have you. So, it's just those little usability details that really keep the customer engaged longer. Which ultimately increases the chances that they'll take the next step, right? Which is to click to call or to fill out the form and definitely generate a lead there. All right. The other thing that on top of that I wanted to talk about was the SRP sort feature. It gives shoppers control, right, to organize results the way that they want. Some people want to see, they want to be able to sort by price or by finance, or maybe the lease is important to them, maybe the year or distance, whatever it is, right? Can even be the feature vehicles. This matters because car buyers, we all shop differently, right? And giving them choices reduces that level of frustration that makes it easier to find exactly what they're looking for. And so the more intuitive, and shopper friendly your SRP is, the higher your conversions will be. And of course, our team is here to make sure, and you'll hear me always say that, like my team is here for you to make sure that these tools are set up and working, to your dealership's advantage for sure.
perfect. Okay, good questions. A lot of you need info on lead driver. We're going to make sure you have that.
Mhm.
Filters. Ooh, this is an area you all forget you
This
can
gets juicy.
adjust. It's one of my favorite. You can control what shows up in what order for the filters. And this is kind of, again, it's one of those areas that you all forget that you can do, or maybe you didn't know, and that's our fault. So now you know, and no excuses from anybody. So the filters show up on the left-hand side, and of course on mobile, it's a different experience, but easier to show you here. You can reorder what shows up where, okay? This is another easy thing to do. You can also hide things that you don't think are relevant for your
Mhm.
customers because there are a ton of filterable options here, right? So this
Absolutely.
is one thing I definitely recommend you look at. Color is one of those things you probably need to scooch up. Customers love to shop by color or love to shop by, I don't want to see a red one, but I'll see these other colors. So moving this up is one of my number one recommendations. Janie, you've got the instructions here. Anything I
Absolutely.
missed on this?
No, I think it's definitely to your point. It's one of those items. It's one of those areas of the website that I think your users are going to use a lot, right? Because everyone's filtering, trying to see or narrowing it down to exactly what they're looking for. And so you want to make sure that you have the options that are going to best meet the criteria for your shopper so that they can find the car that they're looking for. So you covered it for sure.
Perfect. Okay, so that's another piece of homework. Gosh, you guys are going to be so busy right before the week.
Yeah, homework, homework, homework.
Okay, so Tim had a question earlier that I did not ignore. I had to wait so that it made sense. So he wants to know, can a customer search for just a model like Ford Explorer and find both new or used? So a few answers to that. If it's from that homepage keyword, yes. If they put Explorer, it's going to take them to the page that shows them all of the
Sales
inventory.
page.
If
Hmm.
they're on the SRP, they're going to choose new or used. We do have a project currently on the roadmap to add an inventory search in the header. We know how important this all is to you, but that's another great example for a landing page. If you've got Explorer
Absolutely.
advertising out there and we want to drive to both, we can absolutely do that. So my answer is always going to be yes. It might be yes, or yes, but we'll find a way to do what you like, which is great. Um, PriceStak, we've talked about it a few times
Hmm.
and we've showed it a few times, but this feature family, it's tools that streamline the shopper's ability to find a vehicle by payment, which is how we know most customers are purchasing a vehicle. Either they're going to lease or finance it. So is that cash price, is that total price important? Yes, absolutely. We're going to display it. But PriceStak, payment is always at the forefront of a customer's concerns. So this is
Absolutely.
clear, it's transparent, and it's got to be a priority for all of you because it is for us. So it gives you all the tool to optimize this. You can see buy, finance, lease here in these options. I think you're going to take us through a few of the different price stack stuff that we've
Yeah.
got and what's customizable.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll just kind of do a pretty high level here, but with the price stack, it's all about giving your shoppers the clarity, right, and choice while helping you drive more leads. First with the whole price stack payments, you can decide if customers, as Aaron mentioned, right, if they can see, whether they see the finance or lease, right, as the default view. So you have control over that. That flexibility matters because different shoppers think, differently. They think about affordability in different ways, and some focused on total price, while others may look at like what's going to be my monthly payment, right? And so the best part is that these displays and call to actions can be customized to your dealership and your OEM guidelines. We understand that definitely as it relates to the call to actions because OEMs do have guidelines around that. At a high level, the price tag payment feature kind of works really by using the map values from the customer's inventory feed and the configuration set during the implementation phase. And of course, that can be adjusted at any time with my teams. So just let us know how you'd like to adjust that.
Yes,
Um,
perfect.
additional features is the line item incentive features. It's really, as Aaron mentioned, all about transparency, right? Customers can see easily how rebates and discounts apply to a vehicle. And so, our goal is always going to be, how are we building trust, right? And we understand that, by building that trust in your shopper, it's going to help them be able to really plan out their budget, feel safe about, what they're getting themselves into. And so as a dealer, you have control. You can turn off or on the incentives at any time. But that is the whole goal for that feature. Additionally, right, we know that sometimes, or maybe all times, but most of the times, less is more, right? With price stack customization, with this particular customization, the shopper sees or can see a clean final price up front, right? And then if they want to expand, right, for more details, they can. And this keeps the page simple. It's uncluttered. It focuses on the conversion, but also for those who want to get into the details, they can click that more and see a drop down of all of the various incentives or discounts that are factored into that final price.
That's one of my favorite things. If you haven't done
Yes.
that already, that's another. I put those screenshots side by side on purpose because that's the difference between that and that, and
Right? Absolutely.
it
Some of
matters
that might be a bit intimidating for some. So, being able to have that completely
100%.
just clean, it's
Right.
like, oh, I see what I'm getting myself into. But I do want to know how are
Well,
we getting there?
100%. And I mean, if you look at the example, yes, all the possible rebates, and of course it's displayed compliantly, but depending on the model and the OEM, it can be a list. And the customer, when they want to know, they will click more. So
Absolutely.
this just hides it to allow for more vehicles within the scroll, which I love. This next tool, I saw you go.
I
Locked
did.
offers. This is, I'm going to say controversial because gating anything with pricing makes me a little nervous, but we do get asked about this. And I think Toyota specifically has a few cool things that they do. But
Yeah,
talk
they
to us
do,
about locked
definitely.
offers.
Yeah, no. So yeah, I mean, locked offers, I mean, I to your point, it's definitely controversial, but it's a great way to generate leads. I think I will definitely say it has worked for me. Shoppers only unlock the special discount or message after they've submitted their info. So this really, creates that urgency and encourages them to kind of like take action. And, since you can fully customize the CTA and the imagery that surrounds it, right, it's easy to align with your campaign. So if you have any specific campaigns that you
Mhm.
want to kind of highlight, you can do that. And so altogether, the goal is that each one of these features, whether it's the locked offer or just the being able to show less on the SRP, um, all of them work together, right? Hand in hand to create a more transparent, user friendly experience that builds trust and increases conversions. While, giving you the control, right, as the dealership to,
Yeah.
to kind of, decide what you want to be seen. And so that's what we love about the price stack and the various customizations that kind of go along with this tool.
Right. And the image is customizable. You said that it's on the screen. I know.
Yep,
You can change the image. You can change the CTA verbiage that displays. This is one of those things that Testall, we had dealers ask for it, so we make it possible. It's not for everybody, but it's something to know. We want to make sure you know all the tools available to you.
that's right.
Bill says, will this update the pricing that is displayed? Yeah, so we didn't capture the second screen, but once you click unlock our best, that big red button, you fill it out, it changes on the screen to display the price,
What the
correct?
price is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Good question, Bill. All right, let me see what is next. Oh, VDP. So moving to VDP, and we are doing great on time. We are going to keep me honest, but I'm very happy with how we've done. VDP layout aligns with the 3-second rule. 3 seconds is the average time a shopper is going to give a page to learn what it's about and what they are expected to do. Because as humans, I'm supposed to click somewhere. Where do I go? So if we can't capture shoppers' attention within that first 3 seconds, we're going to see conversion drop. That's not what we're here to do. So DealerOn's VDPs provide its tested user experience that builds that vehicle information from top to bottom, giving customers information in the order that is most relevant to them. The number one thing I love about our VDPs is how focused they are on inventory, pictures, the information, but photos is the most important. So you can see, especially in these two images, it's front and center. We didn't talk about how on our SRP you can scroll between photos, which is amazing. But VDP, it highlights it there. But we've also got all that key information, including the price stack information top right. So it's really one size fits all because our VDPs are so tested. I will tell you, our user experience team is doing some more testing, and you might see some updates and customizations to VDP here. Product will kill me if I commit to anything, so I'm going to say in the future, but it is always a work in progress. So
Absolutely.
let's see, sticky sidebar. This is the number one thing. Oh, and I think that image, go back up to the slide before. Okay, sticky sidebar. That information there on the right, that's the key information. It's the price, it's got payment information, it's got your CTAs, most important to you. That's what we always want showing. Right now, if you do not have sticky sidebar enabled, as soon as you scroll, that stuff's gone. We have sticky sidebar. This is another one. You better talk to your CSM. You better email today that as they scroll, it's two sides. I don't think we have the right screenshot here, so that's why I
Oh,
kept it.
gotcha.
But it will keep that left hand static while the other side moves like this. There, I'm doing the screenshot for you.
There you
Um,
go.
Turn this on. This is easy to turn on for us. Talk to your CSM, talk to your DPS, email help. Other things about the VDP, we can hide blocks. If there's information down below that you don't necessarily want to show up, we can hide things. The last thing I'm going to say about VDP and inventory as a whole is we want to know if you like this session, if you like this office hours. I think you do. I'm going to answer for you. Yes, we love it. Jana, you're amazing. We're going to do an inventory office hours here in the next few months and focus more on pricing, our smart inventory manager that's coming
Nice.
up, lots of cool things. So we know we need to talk more about inventory. We're going to do it. So when you fill out the survey at the end of the session, or actually we're going to send you the survey link, tell us what you want to know and we'll get you more resources.
Yes.
So speaking of resources, go ahead 2 slides.
Hmm.
And here's a few of those links that are in here. But I want to show people a link that you need, which I'm going to put in the chat here, which is to this external resource page. While I pull that link, will you talk about this next slide and what this site is?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm excited to talk about it, and hopefully you've heard about it. And we'd love to get more and more engagement. It is our resource center, so a lot of what we talked about when we said, there are going to be there's articles that have more the how-to is housed in this resource center. Our training team, SMEs, we all work hard to ensure that you have, different resources on the various items that you can go and if you want to do it yourself or if you just want to learn a little bit more about how it works. Again, it is ever evolving, so we are constantly improving and updating it. And so next year we'll probably see even more updates to the overall layout of the actual resource center. But today it is a very, very vital resource to look at different topics and be able to see the how to and any additional information. So hope
Perfect.
that you are able to utilize that. And thanks for putting the
Absolutely.
link in the chat.
Yeah, I tried. I'm doing my best, but you'll get the deck and it's in there.
Okay, perfect.
So Andy, can we show sticky sidebar again? Can you go back to the slides
I sure
where it
can.
was, please? So it's that left-hand side or right-hand side. Sorry, I'm backwards. It's that right-hand side where it shows Genesis Electrified GV70. That entire section will remain sticky while the other side scrolls. So again, some of the demo sites that we have listed on that link we shared earlier have it. I'll see if I can find a quick link. I don't know that I'm going to be that fast. I am
Okay.
jumping past the other slide because it's got the wrong image. And Andy, don't call me out. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. But I'll make sure that we get that resource to you specifically. I love it. Point it out. Tell me what I need to fix. Oh, go to the next slide. Go, yep, sit there for 1 minute. Andy's going to screenshot it. We're going to do this all for Andy, everybody. Just go forward 1 slide, Jana.
One slide to the sticky bar.
Yep, to the wrong image that he's going to screenshot. So you can
Got
call
it.
me out later, probably. Gosh, Andy, we're going to be best friends. I like your vibe. Okay. Marion's question, what's the best way to update the pricing in the DR tool? That depends on your DR tool. If you're talking about DealerOn's Apex tool, let me have somebody reach out. I don't have info on that in this deck, but that is a great question. So I'm
Yeah, in
answering you
fact,
live.
if she wants to send a email in to help, we can get someone to schedule a call and kind of
Perfect.
walk through it for you. Absolutely. We'd love to do that.
Perfect. I did have somebody ask earlier, can I schedule time to kind of learn more about building a landing page, walk through it? My answer is yes.
Absolutely.
Either start with your CSM or email us. You're going to see the answer is yes, always. So a few more tools here in these last few minutes that I want to make sure you all know about. Symphony. If you've been on any of our webinars where we've been talking to dealers, moving on to DealerOn, this is my favorite tool. And I don't think I said that before, so I'm not lying. This is our specials tool. It automatically creates specials. We're here heading into the weekend. The first is not only on a Monday, but it is a holiday. How many of your websites are going to have no specials available on your specials page? Hopefully none of you, because you're the proactive ones who are here learning, so you're already on top of it. But we know how difficult it is sometimes to keep those specials pages updated. So Symphony automatically updates that based on the info that you customize. We work with the OEM incentives, we work with the specials from the OEMs, and we work with what you want to display to make sure that you never have no specials available there on that page. The other thing that it does that is the best part about it is it creates specials landing pages. So custom landing pages for each of these specials you see on the screen, fantastic for advertising and where you're driving your clicks to. We see fantastic conversion. It does create offers in GBP. Symphony is one of those tools that is not in every website package because not every dealer needs it. But if you want to find out if it's in with yours or if you want to add it on, reach out to me again. And the last thing I will talk about, it came up in the chat earlier, is Symphony, or Signals, excuse me. Signals is DealerOn's personalization platform. It's designed to create tailored website experiences for every visitor. By leveraging on-site and off-site data, it dynamically presents highly relative content based on a shopper's behaviors, their interests, and their history. That's the spiel. What is it? It's no login required, and it gives customers inline ads based on what they've been searching for and recommended vehicles. So for any of you who, like me, shop aggressively online, I never met a recommended product that I didn't want to click on. So
That's
if
very
you
cool.
haven't explored Signals yet, for that reason alone, we've got to show you. So it's personalization. It increases time on site. I've got a few case studies. Cost varies based on OEM, I think, but don't quote me on that. I see your question, Adriana, I'll get you an answer. So we want to make sure it's the right tool before I even tell you how much it costs, because that's the most important thing. So that's another one. Talk to your CSM or your a sales team if you've got a DealerOn salesperson you work with closely. Gina, we did fantastic on time. I'm so
Yeah,
proud
we
of
did.
us.
Awesome.
We answered all the questions in the chat. Bill, I didn't answer your question about run my lease vendor because I just don't know. So I want to follow up, and I'm going to type that now, and I will. Signals is the ad that you saw in the SRP. Will you go back to that Signals
Mhm.
slide? So right there, bottom left, that ad, that is Signals. So it's an inline advertisement. You can adjust it for model. You can adjust it based on intent. You create the campaign. The other thing Signals does is really cool to work with your advertising partners is we can adjust the messaging based on the UTM code that drives the traffic to the website. So if the customer was interacting with, say, email marketing that you were doing specific to something, when they land on the website, we want that consistent messaging. So Greg gave us a shout out, Jana, since this was your first one, I'm saying it out loud. Love the pace of this, will attend in the future. That's a 10
Yay.
out of 10.
Thank
So with
you.
that, we've answered all the questions. I am going to get everybody out of here 3 minutes early. Thank you so much, Jana. We will send all the resources. Have a great day, everyone.
Absolutely. My pleasure to be a part. Thank you. Have a great
Thanks.
day.